Smash that subscribe button if you think you've figured out who's playing who, because this is where the spy game ends, or begins again. The morning after the midnight intercept, the skiff in Denver smelled of stale coffee and panic. Agents had spent the night scrubbing the drives Navarro had been ferrying out of the Rockies. One was a decoy, encrypted nonsense salted with satellite ephemeris to look real. One was a genuine intelligence log, redacted and curated. And one, the wafer pulled from under Foster's door, was a skeleton key for a system no one outside 3 agencies admitted existed. Navarro was in custody, silent, her badge revoked. Lawyers at the door. Officer Moran had been reinstated but was under surveillance so tight his own shadow reported on him. The Bureau of Prisons flooded ADX with inspectors and technicians. Every vent, every conduit, every door seam was swabbed and scanned. Foster's cell became a clean room under fluorescent glare. The man at its center sat cross-legged, hands on knees, eyes fixed on the slit of sky. The FBI wanted charges. The CIA wanted a debrief. Justice wanted to keep the whole thing from ever seeing daylight. But none of them could answer the question that now sat in the center of the table. How had Foster managed to orchestrate a dead-drop operation from inside the most secure prison in America without a single recorded contact?
This isn't command and control. This is choreography. He built a machine before he was caught. We're dancing through it.
The room went quiet. It wasn't what they wanted to hear, but it was what the evidence said. Each cache, each drive, each map was a timed release. Foster wasn't sending messages from ADX. ADX was the final stage of the message. Inside the cell, Foster began to write again. Long, looping lines on yellow legal pads. Not letters, but lists. Names of mountains, rivers, ghost towns in the Rockies, all without context. Guards copied every page and sent it to Denver. Analysts fed it to algorithms. Patterns emerged. First letters spelling coordinates. Cross-street numbers matching case files. Dates that lined up with past dead drops. In the center of the lattice was an unmarked X in the San Isabel National Forest. A joint team went out at dawn. No press, no uniforms, just parkas and rifles and a GPS pinging cold air. At the coordinates they found a weathered hunter's blind built into a grove of pines. Beneath it, in a false floor, a final case. Inside, a packet of microfilm, a battered compass, and a letter sealed with tape. The letter was addressed not to an agency, but to a name, Daniel Hale Foster. They opened it anyway.
"If you're reading this," it began, "then I kept my part of the deal. The rest is yours. Burn this after."
The microfilm held the only complete copy of the missing surveillance node data, but spliced between the pages were images of internal memos, travel receipts, and black budgets from a program no one at the SCIF had the clearance to read. Back at ADX, Foster was moved to an interview booth under bright lights. Navarro was brought in under escort, wrists chained. No one said why. Foster smiled at her like an old colleague.
"The map or the compass?"
Show them how to shut it down.
It was never about shutting it down. It was about showing it exists.
Outside, the snow stopped. In Washington, a decision was made. The files would be sealed under a new classification code. Navarro would quietly vanish into a pretrial diversion program. Moran would be reassigned to another facility and told to forget. And Foster, the man at the center of it all, would stay in cell B05213 under Sam's until his hair turned white, a ghost with nothing left to bargain but the truth. Weeks later, a junior maintenance worker at ADX found a small, carved mark under the vent in Foster's cell. A compass rose, its points etched perfectly into the concrete. No one reported it up the chain. It didn't look like a threat, it looked like a signature. The legend of Spy in the Rockies grew without him. Journalists pieced together fragments. Oversight committees muttered about reforms. Inside Range 13, the light over his cell glowed steady blue. Some nights the guards swore they heard faint tapping like code echoing through the pipes. Others said it was just the building settling in the cold. Whether Daniel Foster had betrayed his country or tried to warn it, no one could say with certainty. What was clear was that he had turned ADX Florence, the fortress built to seal men away from the world, into the stage for one final, unsolved intelligence operation. A prison designed to stop secrets had become the biggest secret of all, and if you think this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.